What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day and happy Friday. If this is your first time checking out my channel, my name is Tony and all we do is talk about the ZR2 and off-roading. So I would greatly appreciate you guys hitting that subscribe button because we are finally over 500 and I'm greatly appreciated of every single one of you guys, and you guys are phenomenal. You guys have been blowing me up about getting this video out, and unfortunately when we're filming, stuff just happens, and you, especially when you get to editing and you don't like it, you scrap it and then start over and over and over and over again. It just happens. But anyway, here is the my video that I've been working on all week basically. So there's two things before I really get so today we are talking about bed racks, and bed racks are numerous companies out there. Companies are kind of popping up all over the place now, especially when overlanding is really starting to become a big thing. And it's not just with Jeeps, it's not with just Chevys or Toyotas, or I mean it's all over the board. And there are some very cheap racks, and then there are some huge dollar amount of racks. So there's two things that I really want to talk about before we really get into the rack that I end up picking up. So you're going to want to look at the static weight. That is at a standstill, like you're about to, you know, if you have a rooftop tent and you're about to just pop up your tent and start you know, getting ready for camp. So that's the static weight. So we got to look at that number, and then also look at the capacity weight, or I think it's dynamic capacity is what it's really called. It's when the vehicle is actually in motion and you have all your weight there. That number is usually typically a little bit lower than the static weight. So just keep in mind that's not just for trucks, that's also for racks that go on Broncos, Jeeps, you know, whatever, Land Cruiser, or whatever vehicle you're driving. Those are the numbers you really want to pay attention to, and you will see the dollar amount in price. And some companies don't put that up there, so I would definitely highly recommend whatever rack you decide to go with. And if you really like that rack, make sure you give them or give that manufacturer a call, talk to the customer support, and see what they say. So if you have, you know, your rooftop tent, your gas, or you have like gas cans, which I have on the side, and then you got, you know, your partner, or whatever's in the tent, so you're not just collapsing your while you're sleeping basically. So look, those are two things that or the two numbers you really want to pay attention to and understand which kind of route you are going with. So other than that, let's just jump into the garage because unfortunately it's starting to rain, and let's talk about the rack I got. Today is one of them crazy Midwest kind of days. When I left work today, it was nice and sunny and roughly, you know, 45 degrees-ish. But I had to, you know, stop. I had to ship out something at FedEx, and then on my way home, it started doing, it was doing this stuff. I thought we were done with snow. A crazy part, by like I think Monday or so, it's supposed to be nice tomorrow, but I think it's supposed to be almost 70 on next Monday or so, give or take. So anyway, back to the roof rack. So we ended up going with the Tyger Auto bed rack, and I've been seeing this a lot on a lot of Facebook and YouTube videos, and it actually looked like a pretty sweet rack. They give you a ton of holes, so you guys can put, you know, whatever mount you on here, a fire extinguisher, a propane tank. I mean, obviously I have two gallons, so there's 4 gallons of gas right there, and I got 1 gallons over here, which I've actually just replaced with some water packs, 2-gallon water, so they're actually on order. To get rid of these little ones, one of the front one was kind of a diesel, for my diesel heater, and then this back one was just an extra 1 gallon of gas. But so those are going to be going away. We're going to be end up going with water on this side and gas on that side. And yeah, it's so far I actually really like this rack. It's it holds roughly about 700 static weight, which that is just the way it is right now, just, you know, not moving. And we're gonna put a rooftop tent up there, and so that we got plenty of strength to hold that up while me and my wife or my son are up there sleeping. We got plenty of weight for us, and there's plenty of weight for when we're moving. It's roughly 400 pounds of weight that this thing could hold while moving. So I can put a rooftop tent down there, have my gas tanks, and won't have an issue. So there's plenty of weight behind this. There's one thing that I actually had that was kind of an issue, and I'm not blaming Tyger Auto for it. It's actually the shipper's issue. Obviously, it came in a little damaged. This part is actually getting replaced. They already sent it out to me. But there's another thing I kind of don't like about this. I don't like this texture. I don't like this texture powder coat. It just kind of reminds me of Smittybilt. If you guys know Smittybilt, that's just my personal opinion. I kind of like it where it's more the smooth kind of finish, not this texture stuff. So that's just me personally. It's not really them. It's just what they chose to go with. But on their website, it actually looked like it was more of a, you know, a finish, not a texture. So that's just my personal opinion. But overall, I actually really like this rack. For the price, it's not too bad. It's kind of right in the mid-range or so. I'm really curious on how it's going to hold up. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. There is a couple things I actually don't like about the rack, and this is actually kind of one of them. And I ended up actually buying some little just some couple strips of some metal, and I'm gonna kind of reinforce a couple things on there. They give you basically like 3 options to mount this thing on. Basically give you 3 options. You have where you're going to be drilling into your body, and this is what's going to hold it. They give you, if you have the bed sliders or the bed rails that go across, which is nice. Unfortunately, I don't have that. Or you can pinch it. This is what I actually don't like. So they give you kind of 2 different sizes depending on what kind of bed it is, because it is kind of more of a universal fit. But so I ended up going with the smaller one like this. That's all it really holds on to. Was it 6 bolts on each side? So it's kind of just the way it is. Maybe hard to kind of see. There we go. Maybe you can see it that way. But that's all it is. It's just pinching basically this metal and the actual tub itself together by each bolt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take here. I'm going to do a longer slice. I'm going to drill a couple holes in. I'm going to, you know, obviously paint that. And so I'm going to end up cutting that to about whatever length I'm going to do here, and each bolt is going to have its own little hole in that strip, and it's going to give it a bigger surface area to pinch on, instead of this basically 1 inch on each going around. So that is one thing I actually don't like. I know most companies are actually going, or actually have the a longer piece. So that's kind of my biggest complaint about the rack itself. So overall, it is actually a really nice rack. They say there's over like 100 options or so you can get for this rack and stuff. So I'm overly pleased with it. So it's not bad. Like I said, I should say one biggest fallback was their customer service. So as soon as the bed rack ended up coming in, it was damaged. Like I said, it's not their fault. It's the shipper's issue. But I was basically on the phone with them for about 45 minutes and have to show a whole bunch of paperwork. And I was showing, you know, it was one of those live messages, just messaging back and forth. And I showed them the pictures of the rack. It was kind of like they were telling me it was my fault and kind of my issue. So the customer service needs a little loving, but overall the rack itself is not bad. It's actually, I mean, it's a pretty decent little rack. But I'm going to give you guys some opinions on what other racks are out there. So like I said, this video is not sponsored. They're not telling me to say anything, so I'm going to give you my opinions. So obviously this rack, I'm gonna guess, is probably made in China, which is not the end of the world. A lot of things are anymore. But I usually try to buy stuff that's made in America, but you're also, there comes a price to that. And so if you're, you know, you need a rack and you're trying to save some money, you may want to look at this rack. This rack is, again, pretty nice. There are other racks around the same price that could be probably a little bit better. So I'm going to give you guys a list of what I kind of came up with. And one of them I actually had on my Gladiator, which I'm actually a huge fan of. And eventually I want that rack on my truck. And I probably should have just gone with it in the first place, but it is what it is. So the first rack overall is, I'm going to talk about upTOP Overland. They're based out of Colorado. This is probably one of my favorite racks, and no, they're not paying me to say this because obviously I don't have their rack on here. Their rack was super nice. It's nice aluminum, but they're coming at just a tad over $1,000. I have seen them run some sales, which usually comes down to about like $900-ish. An amazing rack. It's all aluminum, and I cannot praise that rack enough. I absolutely love upTOP Overland. So definitely give them a look at. And you know, if you have roughly just $1,000 to spend on a rack, definitely give upTOP Overland a look. And their customer service is actually really good. I called them a few times and it was great. So that was one of them. Like I said, you have Tyger Auto, which, like I said, on their website it comes at about $689. You also have BillieBars, which is roughly about $670, but that's just the rack itself. It's not including any of their add-ons. This is where it gets kind of expensive. Their add-ons are roughly around $250. So if you start adding stuff on, it can get over $1,000 if you go through their website. You got TUWA, if I'm saying it right. Their racks are around just under $800 or about $789. Their racks look really good in their quality. I know a couple, I think ZR2 Ghost, if I think on the top of my head, he runs there, and they're one of their sponsors, and it looks like a very nice rack, and it looks pretty dang nice. So another one, and this is where it gets kind of expensive. You got Front Runner. I'm not really a big fan of theirs. I'm not really a big fan of the Front Runner bed racks because it's just basically a big flat table on top. But theirs are from $645 to all the way up to $1,500 depending on the rack and some options. So that one can get pretty expensive. But the biggest expensive one, and all the videos I've seen on YouTube, they look like an amazing rack. So definitely give these guys a look if this is kind of up your alley, or even just if you're just browsing, go look at it. You have Extrusion Overland. They start at $1,500 and they go all the way up to almost endless. It's basically a custom rack for you and whatever options you want. So those are kind of like my quick little bed racks to look at. I mean, there's a ton of them out there. I saw DV8 because I believe his name is Curtis. ZR, he has a ZR1. Lost Time. I love his channel. Seems like a really great guy. I'm hopefully to get down there and maybe collab with him. And he runs the DV8 one, and they just released theirs, and I thought I saw that around $800 if I'm not mistaken. So that's another one you guys can look at, and it looks really nice. So but I ended up going with the Tyger Auto because I kind of like that V shape. It kind of made it look a little bit different. But like I said, you know, we're running the roto packs on each side. Like I said, that side's gonna be water, this side's gonna be gasket, the gas tank, and then we are going with the rooftop tent, and we're going from there. The one thing I'm gonna try to do is mount that tire upwards, and it's going to be kind of pinched in between the middle bar and the back bar. So that's going to give me a whole bunch of space here. My ARB refrigerator is going to go right here, and all my extra stuff that I'm going to bring camping is right here. So that's basically my Overland build going from there. Yeah, so definitely give these guys a look at if it's definitely kind of your budget-ish. rack. So the nice thing about this rack, it does give you some, you know, light mounts up on here on each corner. I'm going to put my light bar going across for like a chase light bar, because I have my KC one sitting over there. And then I'll probably put a couple lights back there, probably hopefully maybe one right in the middle or so, and get it all wired up. So again, that's kind of like my quick little over scheme of this rack. Super nice. I actually I like it, except for you know, this little boo-boo, and I keep, every time I climb on, I grab this end right here and I keep cutting myself. So, but yeah, that's basically the overview of this little rack. It is a pretty decent rack, so I'll definitely give these guys a look at if you guys are in the market for a roof rack. So again, that's kind of my quick little overview. Sorry this one kind of took a little bit to come out. I know some of you guys saw me on Instagram building it probably a few days ago, but unfortunately sometimes editing and you just don't like something for some reason, so you scrap the whole thing and kind of redo it. And then yesterday I ran out of basically time because the sun went down and got pretty dark pretty quick. So and that is the Tyger Auto bed rack. I'm actually really pleased with it, and I can't wait to get this thing on the trail, and I think it actually looks pretty decent on the truck. So or I hope so, because I bought it. So definitely give these guys kind of a look. You know, again, they're not paying me to say that. Like I said, I pay for that with my own money. So yeah, I definitely would appreciate you guys hitting that likes button if you like this video, and if you like more of these kind of videos, and leave me down in a comment if you have it. Leave me down in the comments down below if you guys have a bed rack already, or if you guys are in the search for one. Tell me which one you guys are leaning towards. So I'd be greatly appreciated, and see what other kind of builds are going out there. So again, my name is Tony. Please hit that subscribe button if this is your first time checking out my channel. And we got a lot more off-roading coming. So we are trying to get a Gladiator, a Tacoma, a Taco, and hopefully maybe I can find a Ford Ranger around here. Maybe we can all four of us can kind of go and hit some trails and enjoy and see which one is the king. And so far, this thing has been absolutely amazing. So, like, again, hit that button. Greatly appreciate it. I'll catch you guys on the next one.